So it's been 2 weeks since I've uploaded a video onto the channel, and the reason being is because there hasn't been too much news, and actually it seems like there's a drought when it comes to anything that is sandbox related, including content. And to be completely honest, it made me feel like I was in a bit of a depression because there hasn't been much of anything to talk about when it comes to Sandbox. And I enjoy talking about this game. It's fun. I love making videos on this, but there just wasn't anything to talk about up until today, which I'm breaking that streak right now. So we're just going to get right into it. So Facepunch is working on a bunch of new games for Sandbox. And one of these new games that has been getting a ton of updates recently is codenamed Pie-Crumb. Now, to be completely honest, I'm not going to even bother trying to piece together what kind of game this is from the commits, just because there's just really no point. I'd rather wait until they mention that a new game is out. But this ties into a slew of new projects and games that Facepunch has been working on for Sandbox in the background. Some of these games include Sausage Survivors 2, which is a 3D version of Sausage Survivors, which obviously is a clone of Vampire Survivors. And I covered this game before. It's really cool, and I'm very interested to see what that's going to be like. Another game that they've been working on called Platformer, or codename Platformer, possibly known as Super Tumble, which is Facepunch's first platformer game on Sandbox, is also getting updates, which is very nice to see. There's many other Facepunch games that are being worked on right now, and either they have been halted in development as there hasn't been many updates from some of these games. And my best assumption to really take from this is either they're finished or they're never going to see the light of day. So knowing Facepunch, it'll probably be interesting to see when the game does finally come out, and also Facepunch working on a collection of ready-to-play games available on Sandbox, but we'll see which games make it and which games will be on the chopping block or have been completely axed altogether. So a game Facepunch made on Sandbox called Walker, which is their map walking game, now allows you to take pictures and also has a depth of field effect. So now you can make your pictures look beautiful, according to Gary, as this is one of his favorite things to do. Gary also mentions that the intention of Walker was to let people make scene or map games. Now, I somewhat kind of understand it, but at the same time I don't. So if you have a better understanding of what Gary means by this, feel free to leave a comment down below. So here's a new feature that I think is very, very, very awesome and is going to be super helpful for newcomers who are going to get into Sandbox down the line, which is games that you find on the sandbox.game website now have a play button that will launch Sandbox on Steam and take you directly to the game you selected. So this is really awesome because this obviously takes inspiration from Roblox. But when it comes to games on Sandbox, the only way you're able to properly find out is if you go to the website or you own Sandbox by itself. But at the same time, I think it's always been really cool to take the games that you would find through the website, and if any of your friends have the game, they're able to go and click play and it'll launch Sandbox for them without having to go through the whole hassle of finding the game. Again, this is really cool, and I think it's very nice to see, as it'll make it twice as easy for people who already have the game or people who are interested to find the games that they want to play, and if they own it, they can just click play when they're not even in Sandbox and just go and jump right in. So we got some new player models that have been somewhat previewed through the Sandbox editor. Now, when it comes to this next section, a lot of this info is a little bit messy, so I try to do my best to kind of simplify it a bit more as it's still being developed and worked on, so please do understand that. Adam and Frank, the hyper-realistic player models, have been seen on a preview version of the Sandbox editor. Now, it just kind of says it in the clip that says preview, so I'm assuming this is most likely the staged version of the game. I could be wrong, but again, I'm just going off of the clip for that moment in terms of the preview. This clip sent by Kix shows the player models, which has been seen before numerous amount of times, as I've showed in previous videos, fully naked compared to the male 07 blue jumpsuit style that was created for the character from Half-Life. There's also an integrated feature for face morphing that fully supports the characters for posing and animating of their face in the Sandbox editor. Meaning that if you've seen the thumbnail of this video and you've always wanted to know how I do this, this is pretty much how I do it when it comes to posing or morphing the faces or anything like that. Either way, very awesome for a lot of people who are into that, including me. New animations will be coming with the addition of the new player models, as it has been mentioned in the August blog post that we got. But currently it's still being fleshed out, as Max, the lead animator on the game, works on improving the animations you would see when using the models in game. Now, this makes the most sense because in that blog, he did talk about how the current animations that are available for the new player models were made specifically for Terry, the sausage person. So that's why they're a little bit weird with the running animations and everything like that. But Max has been slowly but surely working on some of the newer animations that are meant to be for the character that are going to be really awesome when they come out. So it'll be super cool to see how that's going to turn out eventually. In terms of speaking about new things, could that mean that we could possibly be getting a blog post starting in October? Well, Facepunch's new format seems to pack in a bunch of huge updates that have happened over the last month or so into the next following month. Example is any updates that have happened in September means that we're going to get a September update in October. And that's usually how they do it when it comes to this. Right now, the main focuses of the game currently are improving the overall new player experience, as it was mentioned by Gary last month, and also trying to make it easier for newer players to jump in and out of games to make the process smoother. So far, we still haven't gotten an update about the official Steam page that's supposed to be going up anytime soon, as my best guess is we'll get an update either in October or November's blog post. Now, speaking about new player experiences, I definitely been getting tons of mixed reactions and comments from many new players and developers who are interested in developing games for S&box and where to even start. I did create a guide video on this a while back, and it also showed the many resources and things that are available for newcomers to get started making games on the platform. Again, I know and I understand that many people mention about the current documentation and how lackluster it is at the moment, but it's still being developed, and the best way that you're able to get a response or even learn is actually going through the official S&box Discord, which they just recently, I think it was like last month or so, they made a new channel specifically for beginners. So if you're someone who's really interested and wants to make games on S&box and you just feel super annoyed or discouraged at the idea that you can't really get started because I can't look through the documentation and it's not telling me anything, the S&box Discord is your best bet, and the beginner channel is probably the best place to properly start, as many people within the community, S&box community developers, Facepunch devs, are willing to help people to create games that they want on the platform. I've been trying my absolute best to make sure that I could give you guys as much content as I can. I don't want to force it too much because I really enjoy doing this. I love making videos about this game, talking about it, interacting with you guys, and just kind of keeping up to date with the game, because that's like my favorite thing to do. So I have been working a little bit overtime here and there, but over the last 2 weeks, I just thought there wasn't anything up until now where we can talk about it. Either way, if you are interested in S&box, feel free to go and subscribe to the channel, as I will be providing not only updates, but also games that you can play on S&box, a whole bunch of things S&box related. Just sub to the channel. That'll be very much appreciated. If you are interested in S&box in another way where you want to learn more about it, feel free to check out this video that's right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching.